Welcome to podcast from Stress to Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Lolita Guarin, and it is episode 195. And I want to talk about something that might stress you out is the expectations. And it can go few ways how it can be stressful. So first, let's talk about expectations that you have to handle by other people. And it can come as, them criticizing you, pointing things out, just, not approving you, not validating you, just being, displeased with whatever you're doing or how you look and all of this, because they have those expectations of you to please them. So if you are a people pleaser, that could be super stressful for you because you want to meet those expectations. And there are some people who are just never happy no matter what you do. And you can be the best there is and you can look the best, but well, you just don't just it's just not perfect. Not perfect, even if though somebody can say that you're already very perfect because well, you're unique. So by default you're already perfect. Um, how is that to deal with that? You need to pay attention how that makes you feel when you're with those people and then disqualify them. Because somebody who is, let's say, they have expectations of you that you can meet. For example, if they, you have an agreement, you're going to meet at 9 o'clock in the morning and you are at 9:30 and you're still not there. Those are fair expectations. They expected you to be there at 9, especially if they're waiting for you, right? But if they expecting you to become a Batman and you cannot really do that, then those are kind of expectations that really needs to be disqualified. Or you disqualify the expectation, or you disqualify the person because, well, maybe they're narcissistic and nobody's never good enough for them. So it really depends. Now, let's talk about something that can cause you stress that has to do with expectations is that you expecting things from other people. You may expect that some relationship will go well, or your project will go well, or you will sell a product, or maybe you expect just good weather for a vacation and you don't get those expectations met. So what is it you do? It could be very, very stressful. How you handle that? You expect the worst and then prepare for it. Because when you expect something the best, what they say? Expect the best, prepares for worst. What is that saying? Leave me a comment below and tell me what am I saying wrong here. Best not to have your expectations way too high for all of that I already mentioned, for projects, for relationships, for weather, for anything. Not to the point that you say, oh, it's never gonna happen, or I will never sell anything, or the weather's gonna be bad. No, don't be pessimistic. Um, you can be realistic or try to be neutral, and you can say, well, we'll see. How's this job will go? I don't know, we'll see. How's the product will perform? I don't know, we'll see. I hope good, but you prepare for the worst. By preparing for the worst, you lower your expectations to the point where you can manage them. So if your expectations are not met, then you're not so devastated because there's nothing worse when you bring up so much expectation in people on jobs or whatever and then they're being met and then you can even question yourself, how come you didn't do better, how come they need, what happened and all of this, especially if you have a tendency to analyze all things. You can jump into abyss with this because it never ends, continuously asking yourself why not. So you have to be careful with that, but better is just to stay somewhere in neutral. And if you have a tendency of, kind of carrying on for like, oh my gosh, I just met this person, now we're gonna get married. I mean, okay, expectations are really high. So start learning how to really back up, hold yourself back and see, okay, we'll see, this is the step. We're gonna meet one step, we're gonna meet the second step, and then we kind of see how it goes. Same goes with business and all of the things. And then here's the third part I want to talk about. It is about expectations of yourself. I don't think we talk enough about that. What is it that you expect from you? That could be stressful. And it also comes together with honoring your own needs, but also with your own criticism. Do you have this voice inside that continue bringing things up and bullying you and talking negative and pointing things out and never supportive that lives in your head, it probably came from your wounded childhood where you constantly heard those words. Because where did you learn that from? From that. You learn from the people that you grew up with. It's like a recording. What you heard, you repeating to yourself. I love the saying that I heard somewhere. It says, you behave with yourself the same as your parents behave with you. Naturally, because that's what you learned. So if they were very negative towards you, you will be very negative towards yourself too. If you saw that there was a lot of times that you didn't meet the expectations, you're not gonna meet your own expectations either. So again, we need to be very mindful of the expectations that we put on ourselves. And also, we need to be fair about what expectations we put on ourselves. Because you can tell yourself you can be there at 9 o'clock, but I don't think you can turn yourself into Batman. Just saying. Also, it's very important to understand that you need to be fair about those expectations. Where are those expectations coming from? Because you can have very skewed understanding what is it you need to do, especially if you grow up with a lot of people pleasing and in this wounded childhood where you think you have to please others or hence you will die because nobody will feed you and you don't feel safe. Then you can come into this adulthood of thinking that you really need to have those very high expectations of yourself as well. And you need to turn yourself into Batman when you don't. So how is it to know what are your expectations toward yourself? First, identify, does it make you feel good when you do something? Or when you question yourself? How that makes you feel? Does it feel like, well, this is a little bit too much? Or why is it you want to turn yourself into Batman? Do you want to kind of show other people that you can? Or do you want to please them? Or you feel unsafe? That's where you think you need to have very high expectations of yourself as well? Or you're not feeling accepted the way you are and lovable for who you are? That's where you need to become something else? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And then again, start with that common ground with yourself and say, I can do this much. And can I do this much? Yes. Is that feasible? Yes. Okay, let's do it. And then grow from there. It takes time and it takes courage, especially to look up at something that you already been through and you grew up in, especially that we are so loyal to those that we grow up with, family and all of the environment and the schools and neighbors and siblings and all of that. So it can take courage to really see where all of this is coming from. But it's not like you're saying, oh, this is very bad and I have to go totally against it. No, it's about acknowledging so you know what you're working with. It's kind of like, you're being dealt dominoes and now you need to play the game. But you need to remember that there is a whole box of more of those dominoes if you don't like your hand. So instead of blaming somebody about your hand and throwing that in the air and saying, that's it, I'm never going to be successful and healthy and all that, just go get more dominoes from the box. That's all I'm saying. So when you know what you have in your hand, then you can go ask for help. And if you need help with coaching, you will come to my website, Be Amazing You, and book a session. Like I mentioned before, it's still 50% off, because we are going through a lot of very stressful times right now, with lots of changes, and no matter what kind of changes those are. Um, so all of this in the description below. And also, I hope you went and listened to amazing interviews that I already started with other people if you got sick and tired of listening to me. I'm even contemplating maybe I should have 2 interviews a week with others. So I don't know, let me know. Do you like only 1 interview per week or 2 interviews per week? And leave me a comment below. And I think, yeah, so tomorrow is another great interview, and it will be with Sherry and she's great. So I hope you will tune in and listen in.